Hi, I'm Dee, and in this video I'm going to be exploring the question of how to make the perfect rice. Rice, along with wheat and maize, is one of the world's leading food crops, and it is the staple food for more than half of the world's population. We use it in our dinners, in our desserts, to save our technology when we drop it in water. We use it for blind baking and to throw at weddings at the bride and groom when they've just been married to wish them good luck. And us humans have been eating rice for thousands of years. But why do we care about rice so much? Well, rice is a cheap crop and it's easy to grow. Rice is a carbohydrate and it contains iron, magnesium and fibre. When it comes to cooking, it's important to know what kind of rice to use for your food. Now, rice isn't just rice. There are so many different types of rice. There are thousands of varieties, but I like to break them into two specific categories. The first category is based on the size of grain. We have three different sizes: long grain, medium grain, short grain. Long grain rice is about 4 or 5 times longer than it is wide. When you cook long grain rice, it cooks quite fluffy and doesn't clump together like sticky types of rice. The long grain rice is perfect for curries because it just falls apart so nicely. Imagine how bad it would be if you take one spoonful of your curry and then suddenly it's spicy hot and another one just isn't flavoursome. The next type of rice is medium grain. Medium grain rice is about 2 times the length as it is wide. So it's getting a bit smaller, a bit closer to your short grain variety. If you want to use some medium grain rice, then I suggest a risotto or even rice pudding. It tends to stick together a little bit more because it's got more of those starchy elements that make it all sticky and clumpy when it's cooked. And it normally can be substituted for short grain rice, which is our third category. Short grain rice is almost an oval in shape. And short grain rice sticks together because it has the highest percentage of the type of starch that makes the rice all sticky and gluey, which is why it's so perfect for things like sushi, because it will keep its shape, whereas long grain rice will just fall apart. The second category that I like to use for rice is based on its colour. That is white rice, brown rice, black rice, and red rice. White rice does not contain the bran and germ layer of the husk, which is why it has the lowest amount of fibre and is generally classed as being the least healthy of the rices. Brown rice contains the whole grain of rice with only the hull removed. It's distinctive for its chewy and nutty flavour. Now, it contains more protein than white rice. Brown rice is an excellent source of magnesium. Now, red and black rice contain more nutrients in them than white and brown rice. Red rice gets its colour due to a certain chemical. This chemical creates a big boost in antioxidants in your body when you eat it. The black rice is high in fibre, has a nutty, earthy flavour, and although it does take longer to cook, it contains a very high amount of protein. Now, unfortunately, rice does face some threats, including pests, disease, and environmental change. Some pests are even evolving to be resistant to pesticide and herbicide, in a similar way as humans can evolve to be resistant to antibiotics. Some people are concerned that the integrity of rice is at risk because of genetic modification. What the scientists are doing is selectively breeding the rice to contain certain traits, which isn't all that different to what our ancestors did to get rice to how it is today as we know it. The only difference is that back then, farmers were doing it and they weren't 100% sure what they were doing. They knew that some rice produced higher yields or some was more resistant to pests. So what they did was they kept selectively breeding them until they found a rice that could deal with their conditions. They just didn't have the lab or the DNA equipment that our scientists do today. The International Rice Research Institute is working to create a rice that is packed full of even more nutrients and vitamins, especially to help people in those countries where rice is one of the only foods that they have available. So I guess we'll just have to see what the future has in store for rice. Well, there you have it. There's so much more to rice than meets the eye. I've got some sushi to eat now, so until next time, happy eating. Bye!